It would be tough to define us and to not mention wrestling.
Most wrestling took place in the kitchen. There were like tiger cubs honing their skills on one another quite a lot, and Mom intervened quite a bit. I graduated from Chesterton, Indiana. Fortunate enough to be a two-time state champion there.
I remember coming up to the high school from a pretty young age and looking up at the wall, and I was always looking up and seeing my dad's name.
Jack is the oldest. He's about 3 years older than me, and Andrew is the middle, and he's about 1.5 years older than me. Andrew and Jack, I mean, they were always better than me. I always got my butt kicked by those guys, but fortunately I became the biggest. I really liked baseball, and I wanted to commit to travel baseball, and my dad actually suckered me back into wrestling he sent Andrew up to my room after he bought him a new pair of wrestling shoes. And Andrew's like, "Oh, check out my new wrestling shoes." And I don't know if that's what did it, but eventually I found my way back to wrestling. Andrew and I were both state champions in our time at Northwestern Wrestling. We both got it done in our senior year.
When we started Andrew's recruitment, we felt at a pretty early stage in the recruitment process that he wanted to choose Michigan.
Andrew and I were the same weight class, and it really came down to Michigan versus Northwestern. I love the idea of being with Andrew, but it would have been a different system just because he and I would have been competing against each other. It made it pretty easy for me to finally make that call and just say Northwestern. The COVID year, my weight fluctuated anywhere from, I made 197, but earlier in the week, I could be 227.
It was becoming very difficult for Luke to make 197 pounds. He was getting too big for that weight class. It was obvious that it was affecting his wrestling. And we had a conversation with Luke, letting him know if he wanted to go up to 285, that was something that we supported.
I wrestled at Michigan for 4 years and then decided to grad transfer. I wanted to get my master's and kind of continue my education after graduating, and I also knew I wanted to wrestle, but it was going to be tough to make that work.
NCAA's was the first weekend of our spring break, so a couple days later we went down to Cabo San Lucas in Mexico as a family. I was kind of telling him about it, like, yeah man, I'm thinking about maybe going up to heavyweight, and you know, at that point we'll need a new 197. And I was like, I think you'd be perfect for the job.
I wanted to be on a team with Luke again, and that helped kind of ease me through, you know, a massive life decision like that.
Part of me really liked Northwestern and wanted to keep it all to myself, but sharing it with him has been so much better than I could have ever imagined. It's inspirational for him and I both.
We're roommates, we're classmates, and we're teammates too. I'll get up in the morning and Luke will make me coffee, and it's like, that's pretty special, you know? I'm like, that kind of hits ya.
Andrew and Luke wrestle a decent bit together. We try to not have them go together every day, and there are times it gets a little chippy.
When Luke wasn't such a good wrestler, you know, back in the day in high school, I used to be able to big brother Luke.
Maybe the tides have changed a little bit. I think I might have the upper hand against Drew now.
Lucas Davison puts a cherry on top of a Wildcats victory.
I don't think there's any coach in the country that wouldn't classify Luke Davison as a threat to win a national title this year. I think Luke's going to win a national title this year. Just because Luke is higher in the rankings right now, I don't see that being a negative in any way in their relationship. And I have nothing but faith in Andrew to close that gap in the rankings and finish on the podium, right next to his brother.
My favorite things like I've ever experienced is going to battle with Andrew and experiencing that hardship of training and competing together. It's going to be hard once he leaves. I don't know what I'm going to do without him.